All right, I want you to stop what you're doing right now, or if you're in the field or if you're in the shop, at least pay attention. Quit thinking about what you're worried about or what you're planning for this weekend, or quit worrying about the weather or what the grocery list or all that. Stop what you're doing and think and listen to Mary Jo Irman. You're from Bismarck, Mary.
Yes, I am.
And you are here promoting a concept, a book, farming without the bank.
Yes.
That sounds like a fabulous lifestyle.
It is. It would be, wouldn't it? Most farmers dream of that. Yep, it is a book that I wrote that is going to teach farmers how they can farm without the bank and not put their livelihood up as collateral for every loan that they take.
For years, we've been saying, hey, you guys got to have producers got to have a great relationship with his banker. Otherwise, tough times, you can't get through. You got to be able to have a good relationship with the banker. You want no relationship with the banker.
Right. We want to make the banker plan B rather than plan A. Bankers are not mean people. They don't, they only know, your banker can only do what the board allows them to do. So the bank is making those decisions. Can I borrow? Is the bank going to lend me money? And the farmer has to go in every single year and prove himself. This is my balance sheet. Yes, I can pay this back. This is what I'm going to seed. These are the projected costs or the projected income from that. So can we, instead of proving yourself every year, taking control back of your own finances and not having to do that. And if you can't pay it back, not having to answer to the bank, having to answer to yourself instead.
All right. Well, this sounds like step 1, step 2, step 3 process. So what's step 1?
Step 1 is to get the book.
Okay.
And to read the book. I will not meet with a farmer, and it might sound harsh, but I won't meet with a farmer if they don't read the book first. And the reason for that is it takes me 6 to 8 hours to teach you what you can read in 3.
I guess it's a way of thinking, a process of thinking rather than a concept.
Well, it's a way, the first half of the book goes over the way of thinking, because we have to change the way we think a little bit to understand exactly what I'm doing. The second half of the book is actually running numbers. We're going to see how to utilize it for operating loan. We're going to see how to utilize it to take over a farm. We're going to see how to utilize it for retirement, and so we can retire tax-free. So we have all those things to look at, and that's all in the second half of the book. And it's only a 98-page book.
Oh.
And it's a really easy read. So
it's
not like I'm asking you to read a novel.
This is not Moby Dick.
No.
Okay.
And it's a little more exciting than Moby Dick.
Good. And so then what's step 2 after farmers understand the concept?
After you've read the book, then it's time to just call me, and we can sit down and look at your numbers. What is going to be affordable for you? Where can we start this process? In the book I talk about everybody's operation is different. It doesn't matter if you've got a small boat or a big boat. If you've got holes in that boat, you're both going to sink at the same rate.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at where you're at so we know where you can start. Some people can maybe start at $100,000 a year. Some people we might be looking at $10,000 a year. Just depends what you've got going on.
All right. And where does that 100,000, 10,000, 50, 200, whatever the number that a farmer can work with, what's the process and where is that going?
The tool that we use, the tool that I'm teaching you guys to use to build that banking system of your own is inside of a whole life insurance cash value policy.
Mm-hmm.
And that policy has dividends paid out to you because it's a mutual company. So there's very, very specific tools that I use. There's specific riders I put on that policy. You can't just walk into your local agency and say, hey, I want one of these farm without the bank policies. They're not going to have a clue how to set it up. And it's because they haven't been taught how to do that. I'm guessing that less than 1% of life insurance agents out there understand how to do it correctly so that you're getting the best bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm. All right. The whole I see a farmer who's farming maybe a couple of quarters. This would work real conveniently, or it's manageable. Mm-hmm. But a guy who's farming half the township, can that still work for him?
Absolutely. It doesn't matter the size of your operation because everybody is handling money of some kind. The small guy's just handling a lot less money. Mm-hmm. So instead of having a $1 million $1 million loan a year, maybe they're only operating on $300,000 a year. Mm-hmm.
And as we again, where do you start? What's the first thing you should do?
Read the book and then give me a call and let's set up a consultation. I don't charge a fee to sit down and talk to you, and nor am I pushy, but you have to make that first call. Let's look at the numbers. It might not work for you. Maybe it will work for you.
Yeah.
But until you're not going to know until you make that phone call.
Okay. The process is start a whole life policy and then borrow for against yourself. Huh?
Borrow against the cash value. Yep. We put 75% of the premium dollars directly to cash value. You have access to that money within 7 to 30 days.
Wow. And so I guess the greater the life insurance policy you buy, the more flexibility you have.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. So if you have a $10,000 premium, you have $7,500 accessible in 7 to 30 days. If you have a $100,000 premium, you have $75,000 accessible. Now, I'm not talking death benefit because I don't look at the death benefit because the death benefit comes along for the ride. You're going to probably have, I've never written a policy where I have less death benefit than they've had before.
What was the motivation for, and how did you come up with this process?
Well, the motivation for the book, the process was taught to me by a gentleman out of Alabama, and he's 84 years old. So he's been doing this for 50 years. But the motivation for the book is just the fact that I grew up on a farm ranch operation, and I am bound and determined to teach farmers that there is another way to do it. There are so many constraints. They're the only business entity that the bank has their name on their paycheck. There's not another small business that goes and gets a small business loan that the bank's name is on the paycheck. Why? Why are farmers the only ones that take their grain to the elevator and the bank's name's on there? Take their cows to the barn and the bank's name's on there.
Farmers have been doing this, though, for 100 years.
Yep. They're still financing the farm like they did 100 years ago, but they're not farming like they did 100 years ago.
So finance should change, too. Huh?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We need to look at different ways to do it. And, when I talk to farmers, some of them say, well, I'm already doing it. I'm using cash. But cash isn't king. Because in the policy, you're earning a guaranteed interest rate on that policy. Well, even when you borrow against the money, your money is still earning you interest. Well, if you've paid cash for something, you've given up the ability to make that guaranteed interest rate instead of paying the life insurance company a little bit of interest to use their money. So if you can get a 0% loan, why wouldn't you do that and continue to compound your money? We're not taught either what compound interest is. We're taught not to pay it. Don't pay credit card companies.
Yeah.
Don't get a loan with compound interest. But we're not taught to go out and find some place to put our money so we can earn compound interest.
Yeah, because everybody said, they take out a whole life policy and, they hope to cash that in someday. But this is the equivalent of cashing that in now. Huh?
Well, and I'm going to be careful with the cash in portion. Because if you physically withdraw money from a life insurance policy, you're going to pay tax on any growth.
Okay.
I am teaching people that this money is going to grow, and we're going to utilize it by borrowing against the policy, which is a tax-free event.
All right.
So we're going to minimize taxes by borrowing against and paying back. At retirement, we'll show you a strategy where you're going to borrow against that money and not pay it back and not pay the interest. Because when you pass away, that loan is going to come off the death benefit to your heirs. And it's going to put you in a lower tax bracket at retirement.
Wow. Farmers, and that's where you're talking about tax-free retirement. Farmers are clever. Farmers are innovative. Farmers create a lot of things. So I'm sure when you explain this to farmers, what is their reaction? Are they saying, hey, this makes sense, or are they a little hesitant?
Well, it depends on the farmer. Some people get it right away. The next person thinks it's too good to be true and that I'm going to jail.
Yeah.
So it really, I really have a big span in there. If they're really truly looking for something else to do and they're willing to look outside of the norm, they're going to look at this. And it's not that I'm trying to get you away from your banker, because I realize that your banker is your friend. He's almost like family in a lot of cases. I'm just trying to get you to understand that you can control your money. Somebody else doesn't have to control that. That interest that you're paying is going to the bank. How about you own the bank and you get a break of those profits as dividends, which are tax-free. Dividends coming from life insurance are tax-free. Dividends coming from Farmers Union and those kind of places are not tax-free. So take advantage of those taxes while we can too.
All right. Mary Jo Irman from Bismarck. Farming Without the Bank. Is it available on Amazon? And
It is not available on Amazon. Don't even get me started there. But they can get it off my website, farmingwithoutthebank.com. And I usually send them that day or the next day. So you can get them there, and there's lots of blogs on there. There's lots of videos, so definitely check it out.
All right, we'll do that. Mary Jo Irman, thank you so much for visiting with us.
Yep.
A lot of light bulbs have gone off here in the last 10 minutes, so thank you for sharing with all of the Dakotas.
Thank you for having me on.
All righty. All right, we're going to take a break and come back. We're at the Heartland Ag Showcase up here in Minot. We have the show manager, Greg Schaefer, joining us coming up right after the break here on Farm Talk.